Hey guys, New England Mountains is out, and that means that, as always, with the release of a new reserve, it's time to cover all the locations and the best times to hunt every single species. I'm gonna cover the best hotspots as well as the best times to hunt such locations, and I'm also gonna mention some important information that is gonna be really useful to hunt the species that you can find on this reserve. We're gonna start with the Loadout. There are 15 different species on New England Mountains, including both small game and big game. The biggest animal is the moose, which is class 8, so you'll need a big rifle like the 300 to drop these guys without any issue. It is a class 7 to class 9 rifle, so it is also fantastic to hunt black bears, which are also present on New England Mountains. Then you're also gonna need another rifle to hunt whitetails, which are a class 4 species. On this case, pretty much every single class 4 to 8 rifle will work amazing, but if I had to choose one, I would say the Sarsa 308 is definitely the best option. Now below the whitetail there is one class 3 species, which is the Bobcat, and 4 different class 2 species, which are the red fox, the coyote, the raccoon, and the gray fox. These are all really small and sneaky species, so the best weapon to hunt them is the 243 Ranger. That is the third weapon on this loadout, and last but not least, I also recommend you carrying the 12 gauge cacciatore to hunt all 7 of the class 1 species. You know, things like quails, pheasants, turkeys, cottontails, and of course the brand new green wingtail. Look at that. Level 3 green wingtail. I really wanted to find one of these because they are the only new species included on New England Mountains. They may look the same as the Eurasian teal, but they are actually quite different. They are a completely new species. And as you can see right now, we're on this lake, which is one of the multiple locations where it's possible to find every single of the 3 dog species present on this reserve. Essentially the mallard, the golden eye, and of course the green wingtail. They all share the exact same location, so you can easily hunt them at the same time. And well, now this guy is landing right here, really close to us, so he's probably gonna spook. Let's see. We're gonna use the 12 gauge cacciatore. That's it. If I remember correctly, the diamond score is 480, and this guy had an estimate of 461 to 501, so it has a really high chance to make it. Also, as you could see, the max level for these guys is 3 very easy, which is actually the same for every single class 1 animal. You know, all the rabbits, upland birds, and dogs max at level 3. Okay, let's see how big is this potential diamond. These guys are almost identical to the Eurasian teal, although one of the main differences is that the green wingtail has a vertical white stripe on the side, and the colors are also different even though they look quite similar. Okay, let's see a score. It's a diamond, 480.75. The diamond score is 480, so this guy barely made it. The model is absolutely beautiful. Now we're gonna go over the best locations to hunt the rest of the species, starting with the coyotes and the raccoons. Why coyotes and raccoons? Well, because they inhabit the same locations. They essentially share the exact same area, so there is not a single place with coyotes that doesn't have raccoons and vice versa. They have a really clear home range that covers the bottom half of the map. And as you can see, the boundary couldn't be more defined. There is essentially the central river, and they only drink on the southern side of it, so it's fully explicit. I also gotta mention that this part of the map, apart from being the only place where you can find coyotes and raccoons, is also very important for moose, whitetail, and black bear, since these 3 species are present across the whole reserve. So all the spots I'ma mention for raccoons and coyotes, and pretty much every single spot I'ma mention in this video, is also decent for moose, whitetail, and black bear. Okay, inside this first home range there are many great locations, and one of the best ones is this lake right here. It is a really decent spot, especially for raccoons and moose, of course at their respective drink times. Unfortunately, it ain't as consistent for coyotes, whitetails, and black bears, but sometimes it is great as well. Besides this lake, another nice spot to hunt this species is this part of the river right here. It is quite a decent spot, although I don't think it's as good as the last location because it is more dense. You know, it has a lot of vegetation, which makes hard to spot the animals, especially the raccoons and coyotes, but it's still a guarantee of finding zones. It's just not a good place for grinding. And actually, overall this map was not designed to suit the traditional grinding method with tents and tripods. It is simply not a good reserve for such playstyle for multiple reasons. Apart from being really thick in some locations, there are simply way too many zones to place an effective setup, so it's certainly extremely far from being a good map for grade 1 grinding. One of the best things about this map and this home range in particular is that even though the river system is not ideal for hunting, there are many nice and open locations to find feed zones, which in fact are not only good to find the species I mentioned earlier, because it is also possible to find pheasants and red foxes on the left side of the home range and quails and grey foxes on the right side. Talking about the species, the red foxes and the pheasants are tied to the same locations. They cover exclusively the left side of the reserve, while the quails and the grey foxes inhabit the entire right side. Of course, if you're looking for foxes, you will want to hunt them at their drink time, and you will want to check the yellow areas first, to then continue with the rest of the potential locations. Just be patient because the foxes are not easy to hunt. You won't see a lot, because there ain't a lot, so make sure to use the binos and look carefully, because they could be inside the brush. Also pay special attention to the tracks and try to find those max estimates. Level 9 Bobcat. That's something. 27 to 29 the estimate, it doesn't tell us much, but it's likely we're looking at a diamond. I really hope it is, because it's been quite a while since our last diamond Bobcat. Several months actually, so hopefully this guy is big enough. Right now we're on this location, which is one of the lakes that are inside the second home range. The first home range was essentially the bottom half of the reserve, so the second home range is the top half, above the central river. It is the home of many different species like the bobcat and the eastern wild turkey. Okay, I'm gonna get close to this guy to see if we can get him with the 243 Ranger by using the iron sights. We're gonna have to get to, let's say, between 80 and 70 meters, so it shouldn't be too complicated. Let's see here. 68 and he's attentive. And the angle is not ideal, we need him broadside. Now he's quartering away, which is not bad at all. This is actually a good chance to get closer because he won't be able to see us until he turns around. So we're gonna take advantage of that. Okay. That level 6 knows we're here because he was facing us, but as you can see the legendary simply cannot see us. So let's see how close we managed to get. We are almost at 20 meters. And he still has no idea what's coming. You know what? Change of plans, it's time to load the buckshot. It's time to hammer this guy. I'm pretty sure we're almost entering the auto spook range. So gonna take a shot. Oh no, auto spook. But it's too late. Once you're inside the buckshot zone, there's no escape. Let's see how big it is. 27.63 troll. It ain't a diamond, sadly. Okay guys, to finish this video, I'ma show you what I think are the 3 best locations inside the second home range. The first one is this section of the river up here. It is usually great to hunt moose and it ain't bad for whitetails, black bears, bobcats, and is above average to hunt grey fox. Nothing impressive, but it's okay. And in fact, the same can be said for this other river that is also quite decent to hunt all the species. I also have to mention this alpine region, since it is an amazing place to hunt small game, pheasants, cottontails and turkeys.